They appear at the edge of the desert just before dawn, where the Nile bends like a vein of life through dust and stone. And for a moment, even they struggle to understand what they are seeing. No engines, no satellites, no radio noise. Just wind, heat, and an empire that believes itself eternal. This is Egypt, 30 BCE, and Cleopatra is alive. The question is simple, almost absurd in its simplicity. Could 15 Delta Force operators overthrow the Egyptian empire of Cleopatra? At first glance, the answer feels obvious. 15 modern soldiers against an ancient civilization sounds like a mismatch so extreme it borders on comedy. Technology alone seems decisive. Training, discipline, coordination, everything points one way. But history is not one on paper. It is one in chaos, culture, perception, and time. The team understands immediately that killing Cleopatra is not the same as toppling her empire. Egypt is not ruled by fear alone, it is ruled by belief. Cleopatra is not just a queen. She is Isis incarnate to her people, a living symbol of divine order. Remove her body and the idea of her still remains. Their first problem is invisibility. Not physical concealment, but conceptual invisibility. 15 foreigners with unfamiliar faces, unfamiliar movements, unfamiliar assumptions. In a world where everyone belongs somewhere, not belonging is a signal. Every village is a sensor. Every market a network. Information travels slowly, but suspicion travels fast. Still, shock is on their side. When the first demonstration of force happens, it shatters the logic of the age. No thunder from the sky, no fire from gods, just sudden, impossible death delivered with precision no one can comprehend. To the witnesses, it is not warfare. It is sorcery. Rumors race the Nile faster than boats. Some say demons walk among men. Others say Roman assassins have returned with dark magic. Fear spreads unevenly, but it spreads. Cleopatra hears of it within days. She does not panic. Cleopatra has survived Rome, betrayal, famine, and civil war. She understands power better than any general. Her instinct is not to confront the threat directly, but to absorb it into her narrative. She orders temples to declare that chaos has been unleashed by foreign enemies angered by Egypt's prosperity. She positions herself as the only barrier between order and collapse. The people listen. The team realizes too late that every move they make strengthens her story. Each display of superiority reinforces the idea that only a god queen could stand against such forces. They're not undermining her legitimacy, they are feeding it. So they shift focus. Instead of spectacle, they target continuity, bureaucracy, grain distribution, messengers, quiet disruptions meant to fracture the machine rather than frighten it. For a brief window, it works. Taxes fail to arrive. Garrisons hesitate. Rome grows uneasy. But Egypt has one advantage no modern military doctrine can erase: patience. An empire built over millennia does not collapse in weeks. It bends, adapts, absorbs pain. Cleopatra begins to isolate the threat socially rather than militarily. She offers rewards not for killing the intruders, but for information. Suddenly, the team is not hunted by soldiers, but by whispers. A missing water cache. A delayed warning. A wrong turn at night. One by one, their margin shrinks. They can still reach Cleopatra. That is never truly in doubt. Skill and resolve are not the limiting factors. The real question becomes what happens after. If Cleopatra dies, Egypt does not automatically fall into their hands. It fractures. Power vacuums emerge. Roman interests surge forward. Civil war ignites. The Nile runs red not because of conquest, but because of succession. 15 soldiers cannot occupy a civilization. They debate it under the stars, exhausted, aware that history is no longer abstract. Killing her might change everything or nothing at all. Cleopatra's death could turn her into a martyr powerful enough to unify Egypt against any outsider forever. And Cleopatra senses this hesitation. She sends no assassins. No armies. She sends an offer. Safe passage. Gold. Silence. Egypt will remember them as a bad dream, not a wound. It is the most dangerous weapon she has, restraint. In the end, the empire is not overthrown. Not by violence, not by brilliance, not by 15 men out of time. Cleopatra survives not because she defeats them, but because she understands something they do not at first. Empires fall slowly, and only from within. The team fades from history without names, without monuments, without victory or defeat. Egypt falls eventually, but not that year and not that way. Rome wins as it always does, not with spectacle, but with inevitability. So could 15 Delta Force operators overthrow Cleopatra's Egypt? They could kill its queen. They could terrify its people. They could disrupt its systems. But overthrow it? Empires are not machines you shut down. They are stories people agree to believe. And breaking a story is far harder than breaking a body. If you had been there with all that power and no way to use it cleanly, would you have pulled the trigger and let history burn? Or walked away knowing some forces cannot be rushed? That question has no easy answer. We'll stop here. If this story stayed with you, you already know what to do. Subscribe and like the video for more explorations of what could have been. We'll continue next time.